Thank you, Juan. That's lovely, as always. Good morning, everyone. My name is Linda Owens. I serve on the Board of Trustees, and I'll be your worship associate for today. I'm happy to welcome you this morning and to call us to worship with our chalice lighting. As I read the words, Pat McClard will light the chalice, and I would like to point out that, like me, Pat is a member of the Board of Trustees, although he is the vice chair, and I'm just a lowly clerk. So if you have any complaints, talk to him. Well, okay. A flaming chalice has been one symbol of Unitarian Universalism for many decades, a symbol of hope, of reason, of the spark of the divine that shines in all of us. We join our siblings in faith each Sunday by lighting our chalice here in our sanctuary. For those joining us online, we invite you to light a flame wherever you are as we kindle our flame with these words by Reverend Misha Sanders. We belong to each other like stars belong to the night, not captured, not controlled, but held in holy context, each one shining, each one free. We belong to each other like rivers belong to the land, shaping and shaped, never owned, always moving, always becoming. We belong to each other like breath belongs to body, like story belongs to voice, like morning belongs to hope. Not as debt, not as demand, a holy gift. You are not mine, I am not yours, and still we belong to each other. We are tethered by compassion, woven by witness, bound by the quiet covenant of showing up again and again. Without a ledger, without a leash, we belong to each other in the way that love belongs to no one and to everyone. May we know that it is more than enough. May we be the ones who make it so. And now, please rise in body or spirit for our opening song, number 346 in the gray hymnal, Come Sing a Song With Me.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Urbana-Champaign. We are a people of many different ages, histories, genders, bodies, identities, and beliefs. And we are united in our commitment to our mission, which is to build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. My name is Reverend Beth Monholland. My pronouns are she, hers. I am a short, very short, I'm wearing heels and on a stool, short, white, middle-aged lady with dark hair, wearing a beautiful dark green stole this morning with multicolored images that look like stained glass, and it has a hidden pocket. Just felt like I needed to show that off. Thank you, Etsy creator. Sad to share. I have the deep honor of serving as the lead minister to this congregation and to join Linda in welcoming you all here today. If you're a visitor, we bid you a very special welcome, and we're so grateful you chose to spend your Sunday morning with us. If this is your first or second time with us and you haven't yet done so, you are invited to fill out a visitor card. It says, welcome guests. You can fill out your information if you'd like to learn more about the church, be added to our e-news, and you can tear this off so you can keep information about us to refer to later. As I mentioned, we are a congregation of all ages, which means we welcome the noises and distractions that kids can bring into a Sunday morning. And kids are welcome to stay in this sanctuary for the entirety of the service, but we do have a nursery available for little ones 3 and under. And for kids 4 and up, our faith development Sunday morning classes will be meeting today, and kids and volunteers will be invited to go to their classrooms following the time for all ages, which is noted in your order of service. And no matter your age, if you feel like you need to keep your hands busy to pay attention, we have coloring packs available in the entryway just under the welcome table there. And anyone for any reason is always welcome to go across the hall to our fellowship hall where the service is being live streamed. That's a great space if you just need more wiggle room, want to stretch, or visit the bathroom. And now, with all of that, I would like us to take a deep breath together. Whether you're here in this room or joining us online, let's come fully into this space together. And now that I've greeted you, I invite you to greet each other. I'll ring our chimes and invite you to say hello to somebody near you. And if you're feeling particularly motivated and want to go across the room to greet someone, you're welcome to. If you're joining us on our YouTube live stream, feel free to drop a greeting in the chat. I'll ring the chime to bring us back together as well. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Thank you, everyone, for those lively and energetic greetings. You are invited to keep those conversations flowing immediately after the service. For our fellowship hour, we have coffee and tea, and always, because folks here are so generous, lots and lots of snacks, right? That's our favorite. So thank you for that. Coming together in community, building community, is our mission here. And one of the ways we do that each week when we gather is by practicing spiritual generosity and making room for all of our joys and sorrows. the griefs and gratitudes, the wholeness of our lives that we carry with us whenever we gather together. We practice our joys and sorrows several ways in this church. Often, as we will do today, we will have an embodied ritual with singing of a blessing song, May the Longtime Sun, and you're invited to come forward to the chalice table or the table in the center back. And for each of your sorrows, drop a stone in the water. For your joys, drop a petal. And as those things are held in that bowl of water, know that you are held in this community. You are also invited to submit a joy and sorrow card, which you'll find in the pews and on the back tables, or I'll smack this microphone, and the ushers can also bring them to you. There are also joys and sorrows cards in the entryway whenever you come in on Sundays. You can also submit a joy and sorrow via email if you prefer to do it electronically, and certainly if you're joining us from afar, that's at joysandsorrows@uucuc.org. We'll read those things aloud that folks want to share later in the service. For this moment, I thank you for making space for each other, and I invite us to take in the music, sing if you are moved to do so, and come forward for our ritual. Thank you, everyone. Oh, and thanks. Yep, feel free to bring the cards up to me. We'll read them out loud after our offering this morning. And now, it is the time in the service that we call our time for all ages. And sometimes we have activities, and sometimes we have stories, but today we mostly have me talking to you. That's just how it's going today. Partly because this is the first Sunday of September, And while we officially began our church year 2 weeks ago with our water service, which was beautiful, it's a welcoming home ceremony. Today, really, with the beginning of September, feels like the kickoff of things. And we're beginning a new worship theme. So for September, our theme is belonging, building belonging. And in our opening words, you heard Reverend Misha Sanders reflect on belonging. We will hear those words from Reverend Misha throughout this month. I actually commissioned her to write them for us, for this theme, for this month of belonging, of how do we belong to each other. And so I want to ask some of you what you think when you hear the word belonging. What are some of the things you think of? Community? Clubs? Oh, right. We belong to clubs and organizations, to community. Acceptance. Something larger than ourselves. Connection. Oh my gosh, I should have been writing these down. It's okay. It's being recorded. I'll get it later. Committees. Yeah, the thing. You're not wrong. I love all of these. I think sometimes that idea of belonging, the ways in which you've lifted it up, the organizations, the people, the clubs, the things larger than ourselves that we belong to, and I hope that belong to us, but in a way that we want to explore that isn't about ownership, that isn't about a leash or a ledger, in Reverend Misha's words. So I want you to think about what belongs to you. What is actually in your heart and in your body that no matter what happens in the world can never be taken away from you? What connections to community, what love, what relationships actually belong to you and help you belong to someone else, to many someone else's. That's what we'll explore throughout this month. Next week is an all-ages service, and we'll have lots more interaction than this because we're going to have some UU history quizzes. There might be prizes. We'll have a UUCUC. How much do we know our people? That is next week's service. So how much do we know UUism? How much do we know UUCUC? And how much do you know each other? So I hope you all come back next week for that. And in the third Sunday of the month, we are going to be exploring place and how we belong or don't belong to specific places, how they don't belong to us, but also how we are shaped and how different spiritual traditions around the world are rooted in place. And what does it mean when those places are disrupted? And then we'll end the month exploring the notions of home. Where are we home? With whom? And what happens to us when home is the place that we have to leave? We belong to each other without owning each other. And so I hope as we explore the themes this month in worship, you'll also find the ways to explore it in your conversations with each other, in your faith development classes, and in all the ways that you gather both here and beyond these walls. So thank you all. And now it is time, dun 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 dun. I'm looking at Theo. Yes, he's excited for the kids and our faith development volunteers to head down to their classrooms for their time of faith development this morning, where they will also explore some belonging together. So you all may go. Follow Natalie. Yes. Follow Theo's cheering. And as our kids head out, I'll invite Linda to come back up for our community matters.
Hello again. We live our mission at this congregation by connecting day to day and week to week through the opportunities both within and beyond our walls. We invite you to subscribe to and read our weekly e-news to stay up to date on all of the activities offered through our faith development program and our congregational life and social action councils. This morning, I'd like to highlight a few things. Join our interfaith neighbors today at Crystal Lake Park from 2 to 4 for the annual Interfaith Community Picnic. Bring a side dish or a snack to share. The Interfaith Alliance will provide grilled meat and vegetarian items. All are welcome. Register for Sunday Faith Development for Children and Youth is, registration for Sunday Faith Development for Children and Youth is ongoing, and families are strongly encouraged to complete a registration form, even if you think your kids can only come occasionally. Our adult faith development programs, including deep listening small groups and adult OWL classes, are also open for registration. Deadlines to register for some of these programs are today, so be sure to sign up if you're interested. In addition, our Quack group is hosting a common read of Authentic Selves, and registration for that ends in 2 weeks. And we're kicking off our Inquirer series today. These are 1-hour sessions for anyone wanting to learn more about UUism in our church. Today's session is a Q&A with our lead minister, Reverend Beth. Bring your coffee and your questions to the back of the sanctuary around noon. Finally, be sure to sign up for the Fall Coffee House coming up on September 20th and to save the date for our Next Steps stewardship process the weekend of October 18th and 19th. Read more details about these and other events in our e-news and check out the full calendar of events in Realm. And if you haven't, sign up for Realm. It's very handy. Each Sunday, in recognition of our very real interdependence and reliance on each other, we pass the plate and share our offering with an organization doing the work of justice in the world. Our shared offering partner for September is the Immigration Project, the principal provider for low-cost, sliding-scale fee structure, legal services to immigrants in central and southern Illinois. With offices in Bloomington, Normal, and Champaign-Urbana areas, over 100 annual regional clinics and workshops, and statewide partnerships, the Immigration Project pairs top-quality legal advocacy with a rural regional service approach to ensure access to legal representation across 86 counties. For those of you who don't know, Illinois has 102 counties, so 86 is a pretty good percentage of the total. Their attorneys are full-time and aided by a social services component which can assist with housing, coordination of public benefits, and educational programs for our clients and allies. We at UUCUC have benefited from programs prepared for us by the Immigration Project on Know Your Rights for Allies and Rapid Response. They are an important partner to the work of our immigration justice team. You can give through Realm and via the online portal on our website, or if you're here in the sanctuary, the basket will be passed and you can write a check. The check can be made out to UUCUC, and in the memo put shared offering. Half of all non-pledged donations will go towards sustaining the work of the church, and the other half will go directly to our shared offering partner. The ushers will come forward as our offertory music begins, and we invite you to give whatever is generous for you. This is also a time to submit a written joy or sorrow.
Thank you, everyone, for your generosity. I know the plate is still being passed, and that is okay, because as we practice our financial generosity, we'll also continue to practice our spiritual generosity and read our spoken joys and sorrows today. These are 2 weeks' worth from last week and this week, and so I will start with some of what was submitted online last week. I know they mentioned this in service, that our dear longtime member, David Gross, has made the difficult decision to go into hospice. David and Claudia are feeling well supported by family and friends and by all the folks at Clark Lindsay and Meadowbrook, where David is now staying. David does welcome guests, visitors, cards, phone calls. Just check in with him. He loves your company, and he loves this church as we love him. Last week, Jim Hannum, I know he's here somewhere, shared a joy that his grandson Nicholas had his 5th birthday, and their middle grandson Alec had his 13th. What big milestones. Let me just scroll. And then for today, Katie Goslin shares a joy from their family that today the Goslin twins, Violet and Owen, turned 2. And today marks 2 years of this community supporting our family through their birth, violent surgery, and beyond. We're so thankful for the last 2 years. That's from Katie and Brandon. A joy for Pat McClard, overwhelming joy for temperatures in the 50s and 60s. And I know some people disagree with that, but I'm right there with Pat. Super joyful. Sam Bashir shares a joy for the Elnora Guitar Festival and for the many ways that music can bring us together. Amen. Well wishes are being sent out from Jim Hannum to Jerry Fry as he recovers from his knee surgery. And Jerry's wife, Priscilla Crone, shares that she's happy to report that Jerry's surgery went really well on Friday, and he's home doing laps and exercises with just a bit of medication to assist. He sends his greetings, as does Priscilla. And from Karen Vergon, I'm full of joy to be attending service virtually. Karen, we're glad you're joining us on the live stream. I look forward to church every week and can't wait until we can move up to see you. We're stuck in Florida now and attend in person regularly. Church lifts my spirits each week. And then some of our written ones from here in the room. Last week, Dean Johnson shared, my 1-year-old, this is a joy, my 1-year-old German Shepherd taught herself this week that if she is insistent, that I will take her for a walk. And she gets me up at daybreak and doesn't let me rest until sunset. She has me walking 5 miles a day. I mean, a puppy will get you healthy one way or another. From Christine Cahill, a joy to have spent 10 days in northern Michigan, including 3 days in the UP, but a sorrow to learn that a dear friend in Traverse City has been diagnosed with colon cancer. Please pray for healing for Terry. From David Wolf, a joy that on Friday, August 29th, David's son Gabriel bought David's house after 5 months of waiting, and a bit of sorrow mixed with that David won't be living in it after about a year or two. But 20 years of love working on the house are imbued in its very bones. And then from Damien, I feel myself outgrowing a self-concept based on external validation, as if I am not just espousing my beliefs in human dignity, but embodying it. Amen, may we all. A joy from Gail Hootie. Gail, I said your name wrong, I apologize. I have new hearing aids, and these may be the best yet. Oh, gosh. And this is a combined sorrow from Nisi Sturgis and her son, Owen. Nisi shares, our family just lost one of our dearest friends, Bobby Starkey. He kept my mama company for 16 years. He was kind, gentle, and important to us. He logged over 1 million miles as a truck driver. Wow. He was unafraid of going the distance. And then Owen shared, and thank you for this, Owen, Our family just lost one of our very important members of our lives due to pneumonia. He inspired me to be a truck driver when I was 5. Then time went by, and now I'm 11 years old, and just when I heard the news, major breakdown, and anything that reminds me of him, I will hold on to tightly. Thank you. A joy from Kiri, echoing the puppy trend today. A long-awaited joy. We have a new puppy. Her name is Luna. I've seen pictures, and she's adorable. Thank you, Kiri. From Jeanette, a sorrow. Last Monday, received a horrific phone call that my very dear friend Teresa passed away while snorkeling in Hawaii. Her body won't be able to be back home until September 11th. A joy from Creole, salt trucks in Chicago blocking the entrance of ICE vehicles into the city. And a joy from Kat, where are you, Kat? Surviving another trip around the sun. Happy birthday. And a joy from Kim, so filled with joy to be in local community and worldwide community, including the people from 45 countries on the flotilla to bring food and medicine to Gaza. May they be kept safe. From Beth Simpson, we are going to the Ability Lab in Chicago 3 days a week for 6 weeks. Please keep us in your hearts. That is a post-stroke ability lab. Beth is making great progress and continues to improve. I'm glad you get there, Beth. And then from Piper Schultz, who I think is gone downstairs now, but tomorrow is Piper's 15th birthday. So Piper, if you're still in the room, and even if you're not, happy birthday! I say this often, right? That the world is both terrible and beautiful. That our griefs and our joys coexist side by side, and making space for all of them, even the things that might seem trivial, like a new puppy, are not. It is holy work, it is spiritual work, that we take this time for each other, that we share these joys and sorrows. And so for everything that we've spoken aloud today, for all that we're always carrying silently in our hearts, I offer gratitude. We'll have a moment of silence, followed by music, and then despite what the order of service says, there will be a sermon from me. Thank you, Juan. I don't know about you, but it's hard to have peace like a river anywhere right now. So I offer that as a prayer for us today. So the title of today's sermon is What I'm Learning from My Road Rage, which a subtitle could be on Trying to Be My Better Self. So I'm going to start with a story. 15 years ago, my husband and I and 6 of our friends traveled to Ireland together. We rented a fabulous house in a charming little medieval town called Carlingford. It's on the historic Cooley Peninsula, halfway between Dublin and Belfast. I put together a presentation for my friends to convince them to go to this place. We were able to take the train the hour down to Dublin or the hour up to Berlin, but for wandering further afield from our little town, we did rent a couple of cars. There were 8 of us, and rather than get a big van, we got 2 little cars, manual transmissions, because they're just cheaper and more common in Europe, and the 4 of us who knew how to drive stick shifts were like, we can handle the driving this week. Well, and for the most part, we honestly did really well, driving on the wrong side of the road in strange places around constant roundabouts with signs in both Gaelic and English. But there was a few wrong turns, and I, for some reason, in the mornings was designated as the lead driver, always. I hate being the lead, but they were like, it's fine, you can do it, Beth. So one morning, as we're driving through a town, I believe it was the second day there, I sure enough turned right onto a street, and it was, of course, the wrong direction to turn. I realized it almost immediately, as did the 3 people in my car who were shouting at me. I stopped, the car behind me stopped, the oncoming cars, I'm sure very accustomed to such things happening, also stopped, and I laughed and shouted out my window, "I'm sorry, I'm a tourist," as I moved into the correct lane. And we laughed about that, and we decided that "I'm a tourist" would be our mantra for the whole week. Whenever any of us made a mistake, whenever we saw anyone else making a mistake, we would say, that person is clearly a tourist. We brought home so many wonderful memories of that trip, and not just all of the historic and beautiful places we visited, but really lovely moments of quiet wanderings together. Rarely were all 8 of us together except at supper. We moved off into different groups, had deep conversations, deepened our friendships and trust with each other. And we had so many moments of laughter. The inside jokes, not just the "I'm a tourist" one, come up over and over in that group of friends 15 years later. There together, I saw the light of each of us shine as it sometimes cannot in the hustle and bustle of our everyday lives. And that sense of fun and camaraderie with other drivers, though, was not something I brought back with me. Because at home, driving, I get really tense. Certainly more true 15 years ago than it is now. After all, this is what I'm learning from road rage. But I would yell at people for doing stupid things. Yell only, by the way, in my car, not actually out the window at them, right? Yelling in my car into a void, essentially, to which only I can hear. When people did stupid things like, rolling through a stop sign, driving too fast, driving too slow, failing to use their blinker, using their blinker for too long, all the things every single one of us have done over and over, but when we see someone else doing it, it fills us with rage at their stupidity. How can that person do that? What I was able to shrug off and laugh at in Ireland, in my everyday life, I found myself clinging to with anger and irritation. And just a few months after that trip to Ireland, I was driving around Milwaukee with my best friend who had been on that trip, and a car cut me off. I had to slam on my brakes to prevent a collision, and then that person proceeded to drive in front of me for the next 2 miles, going 5 miles below the limit, and I seethed silently and not so silently in my car, getting angrier and angrier at this jerk of a car, when my friend, when I muttered out loud many times about how could they be going that slow, she said, "Yeah, that person is really slightly inconveniencing us." I also laughed. It was such a reminder how laughter is needed. It's needed for our connections, not just our connections to each other, but our connection to our better self. And I kept thinking about that moment of being slightly inconvenienced and all the other times, not just in my car, but in life in general, that I've been slightly inconvenienced. And I just think about how hard it is sometimes to see people as people. And so 15 years ago, as I reflected on all of that, I started to feel a lot of deep shame at myself, at this tendency, human though it may be, to have a lack of patience and a lack of humor in my everyday interactions. So in contrast, so in contrast to myself as a grace-filled tourist. But I wanted to live more like that tourist who can recognize my own human frailty and the humanity of everyone around me. And so I decided to start letting my road rage teach me some lessons, to let it remind me that we are all tourists in one way or another, and that all of us, all the time, have somewhere we want to be, somebody we need to get to, and we are all doing the best we can with what we have in this moment. And mostly, we're all just trying to be better, more whole versions of ourselves day by day. And what road rage has taught me over the years is that I fail often to be that better person day after day. My better self wants to shine like I did in those quiet moments with my friends in Ireland. I want to be kind, to be patient, to love wholly, and to be deserving of love from others. I think that's what most of us want, to live lives that leave the world, or at least our little corner of it, a better place for us having been there. We want for our best and better selves to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be welcomed. We want essentially to belong to community. A sense of belonging is a basic human need. It's right up there with food and shelter. People can and have died not just of starvation, but of loneliness. And so we need one another. And throughout time and across cultures, we seek to belong to someone or something, a family, a cause, an organization. But while the specifics may differ from time and place, that underlying need for all of us is the same. There's lots of people who've written about belonging, who continue to write about it, both from a psychological perspective, from a recovering from trauma perspective, which we'll hear about later in the month. But I want to lift up someone from my old life, an education researcher named Dr. Terrell Strayhorn of The Ohio State University. Yes, he is a rival of Illinois, but it's okay. Dr. Strayhorn has done a decade and a half of research on this topic, on belonging. And while his research is focused on college students, particularly African-American male college students, his findings, I think, are applicable to all of us. For people to join a community and then to stay there to feel as if they belong to it, he says that they need several things. That sense of belonging is born out of a real deep knowing that they matter to someone and that they are seen and acknowledged for who they are. That belonging isn't contingent on you becoming like us, but on us learning who you are and that we make space for each other. It doesn't mean that all ideas and behaviors are tolerated. Don't get me wrong, that isn't what this sense of belonging means at all. But it does mean that who we are right now in this moment is recognized, acknowledged, and welcomed by the people welcoming us in. That someone takes the time to get to know us. They remember our name. They care about us enough to check in on us. That knowledge that someone cares for us, that we matter to him, that our humanity is important, Dr. Strayhorn's research says, drives people's motivations. That sense of belonging helps us adjust in times of troubles, and it helps us to succeed in our endeavors, whatever they are. It is in belonging to community that we are able to be our whole, best, better selves, to make room for those selves to transform in relationship and connection to each other. Belonging is about mattering and care, about being seen and known. It's about connecting. And so it makes sense that when we are disconnected, when we feel as if we don't belong, that we don't matter to anyone, that our best selves cannot shine forth. They can't always even get born in us. And what road rage has taught me is that I and we together have to hold on to that sense of belonging, to our connections to each other all the time, if we are to live up to our own ideals. If we are to actually practice and embody our UU values, for example, our values that say we are all interconnected and have inherent worth and dignity, then we must move through the world with generosity, making justice real for each other, sharing our resources and care with each other, making love be the center of what we do, and that takes practice and intention. And my road rage has taught me that just because I cannot see someone's face, just because I cannot see how we are connected, doesn't mean those connections aren't there. My road rage is teaching me that my best self, your best self, has to look past the literal and metaphorical hunks of metal that we hide behind when we are feeling disconnected. It's an act of kindness and of patience and love to assume the best in others. It's an act of my best self to see people and to let them see me. But that being seen, while necessary to create a sense of belonging, makes us vulnerable. And vulnerability is, let's face it, it's hard, it's scary. But if we're striving for those connections, striving to make ourselves in this world better, to be part of real thriving community, then we have to run that risk of rejection, run the risk that our vulnerability might get us hurt. And so it's safer sometimes to stay inside our boxes, to stay behind our wheels with the illusion of being in control, and then we can curse and shout at others and their shortcomings rather than face our own fear. And that's what I'm learning from my road rage, that the anger I often feel in my car, the anger I feel reading headlines, encountering political yard signs, is a shield. Because when I'm happy and relaxed and feeling connected, I rarely get upset about someone going too slow in front of me. When I'm feeling happy and safe and connected and see a yard sign I disagree with, rather than the tendency to curse, I say a prayer instead. But when I'm feeling disconnected, when I'm feeling as if my vulnerability or myself doesn't matter, the anger rises. And that's a lesson for all of us, that the anger is sometimes not the actual problem, but the feeling of how can I be connected to others is actually what I need to attend to. Because we as humans, we run from our pain and fear rather than attend to it. We all have so many traumas in our bodies that have taught us over and over that our showing up as who we are isn't safe, and so we avoid instead. Rage against others is often a sign that I'm angry at myself for something. Anytime I shout, "Get out of my way because I'm in a hurry," usually means I actually need to slow down. Or if I shout, "Slow down, you a-hole," it's because there's probably something I'm avoiding. And when I shout, "Go already," I probably need to figure out what it is I need to be going for. We project our fear and shame onto others. We hide our vulnerability behind a wall of noise. We're afraid to be vulnerable and to let our authentic selves show up fully and wholly as who they are. But belonging requires us to do it. And road rage is teaching me that as hard as it can be to listen to my own fears, to attend to my own pain and anger, to be vulnerable with others, life is so much richer and fuller and better connected when I do it. On that same trip to Ireland, a few days after that incident I told you about, We decided to drive from where we were the 4 hours up to the Giant's Causeway, which is on the northern tip of Northern Ireland. And on clear days, when you stand on the Giant's Causeway, which is an amazing natural geometric formations, look up the photos, they're amazing. But on clear days, you can see the 17 miles across the water to Scotland. The day we were there was not a clear day. The day we were there was early November, and Ireland was having the worst storm it had had in 2 years. Hurricane-force winds at 80 miles per hour were hitting the coast of Donegal. By the time they got to us, they had quieted down to 40 to 50 miles an hour, and the locals kept joking that they hoped we didn't get blown into the bay as so many other tourists did. We had a great time, though. We did get a bit wet, and then we were chilly, and then we got a late start heading back to our little cottage in Carlingford. I was again the head car, and everybody. The GPS went out in our car. It was dark and not well-lit street signs, and then the defroster on the windshield stopped working. I was freaking out, and I took so many wrong turns or roundabouts that it was literally like we were just going in circles. And the final straw for me was taking a turn on a roundabout, and my friends were like, I don't think that was the right one. And I'm like, well, I'm here now. We'll see where we go. And we ended up literally on a rutted track in a field. And I stopped the car, and I started crying. And I said, I can't drive anymore today. I can't be the lead car anymore today. I need somebody else to do this. And we switched drivers, and my husband, who was driving in the other car, because he likes driving in the dark and getting lost in fields, was like, what a fun adventure this is. He took over the lead, and wouldn't you know it, within a half hour, we were finally back at our little village, where the power went out, and everybody in the village, literally everybody, gathered at the one pub that was inside a castle that had a generator, and sang songs and ate and made merry all night. And I thought about that moment of finally just saying, I need help. I felt ashamed for it. Nobody else that week had had the same trouble on the roundabouts as I had. The other 3 drivers seemed to handle it fine, and I thought I failed. But when I took the time to be vulnerable, to just admit I needed help, what it did was let me lower my guardrails, and it let other people come forth and shine. And it got us back to that village a little faster than it would have otherwise. I was angry at myself for that, but only for a moment. Because it was in that time of not being raging at others, but raging for a moment at myself, that I remembered this is what road rage is teaching me. That I have to see others' humanity, I have to see my own. And that's the only way we're going to build a deeper, better community where we all matter and know that we can rely on each other, that I don't always have to be in control. I can let somebody else drive. I can let them shine. And it's hard. I know that. Especially in this day and age where sometimes the people we're angry at are literally working to dismantle every social safety net we have, where the people that we are raging at are actually clinging to fascism and destroying our democracy. And we need to rage against those things. We need to fight actively against genocide. We need to fight actively against all of the harms that are being done, but that doesn't mean we let go of our humanity or the humanity of everyone we encounter. And that's a lesson I learned not from road rage, but my road rage keeps reminding me of it. My last year of college, 5th and final year, it was 1995, and welfare reform was being passed across the nation, but Wisconsin, which was my home, was on the forefront of it. And in a philosophy class I had, we were talking about welfare reform. And the conversation carried over into the hallway after class, and I, being me, got super excited and angry. and practically was shouting at then Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson, how can he sleep at night? And my philosophy professor, who was a trusted mentor, such a quiet, loving presence, just gently touched my shoulder and said, honey, he sleeps just fine at night because everything in his life has led him to believe he's doing the right thing. That had never occurred to me before. As a poor kid who had relied on welfare and food stamps most of my life, who had heard the kind of political discourse that said me and my family were somehow less than human, I did not realize that I too had made the people saying that about me as also less than human. I hadn't seen Tommy Thompson and all of his ilk as anything more than caricatures trying to make my life harder. And I did not suddenly like Tommy Thompson after that moment. I certainly did not agree with any of his policies or the policies that have followed, but I stopped hating him. And I started seeing him as human, the people who supported him as human in a way that I just hadn't to that point. And my road rage keeps reminding me that lesson, like all of our lessons, we have to keep learning over and over and over again. Because as long as we're breathing, we're still learning, we're still practicing, we're still showing up for each other in community. And so even though I will fail over and over again, even though I will still have moments of shouting in my car, of cursing some political stance of somebody or other, I still come back to, we are in this together. You're not just a faceless car, a name on the internet. You are a human worthy of love and connection. We are people worthy of love and connection. And like Reverend Misha's words said, we have to be the ones who make it so. We have to use humor and curiosity as often as we can so that we can be reminded whenever we're going the wrong way or someone else is to say it's okay. We're all just tourists here. May it be so. And now will you rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, my favorite in your teal hymnal, number 1028, Fire of Commitment. wherever you go in the days and weeks to come, may you find and connect to who you belong to. May you find belonging here with this church. May you remember that we are all on this tiny blue planet here for just a little while, and we can be laughing, loving tourists together. Now let us extinguish our chalice with our words from Reverend Elizabeth Selly Jones. You'll see them on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.